Earlier this week, an Iranian cartoonist was sentenced to 25 lashes over his depiction of a politician in a soccer uniform. Well, I'm here with someone who knows a little bit about getting into trouble for depicting a politician. Nick, thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Thanks for having me.
And remind us again, what did you get into trouble for? If you could briefly tell us.
I drew a crocodile that the crocodile's name rhymed with the name of a powerful Ayatollah. And of course, I had all the intentions to do this, but I denied it in the court. And the Ayatollah was somebody against freedom of the press, and he wanted to suppress the media, so I made fun of him in a way.
Well, let's take a look at the cartoon that got our other Iranian cartoonist into trouble. And please pronounce his name for me, so I don't sound too bad on the radio.
Sure, it's Mahmud Shokraye.
And could you describe what's going on in the cartoon?
He has drawn this member of parliament, Mr. Lotfi Ashtiani, who's the member for the city of Iraq. Iraq is the center of the Markazi province, southwest of Tehran. And Mr. Ashtiani was one of those politicians who wanted to bring powerful soccer teams to the city. Like, for example, if San Francisco's mayor wants to bring LA Lakers to a city, and so that's the name of Lakers would change to SF Lakers, something like that. So he wanted to take credit in a way as well. He wanted to bring powerful soccer teams to the city and also show himself as the hero who was brought the soccer teams. And some people say that there has been some corruption involved as well, but I have no evidence of that. But they say a lot of things about this politician.
Okay, so what exactly is the cartoon implying about this politician?
It's just showing the politician in a soccer jersey and having a congratulatory note in his hand. Nothing special. It's just a caricature that's, to my belief, it's not even a caricature. It's more like a portrait of the guy. You can't see that much of a exaggeration in the feature of that politician. But there's one thing that's possibly bothering for the politician as an Islamist is the dark spot or dark skin on his forehead, demonstrated in this caricature of him. That's when many Muslims, devoted Muslims, rub their forehead to the ground so much during prayer that this part of the skin actually changes and the color changes. And that's a sign of devotion in many Islamic countries. You see this in Tunisia. I saw on the foreheads of so many politicians in Tunisia, especially Mr. Prime Minister actually had one that I took a picture of him probably.
And why would the politician take offense to that?
Probably because it's a somehow Islamic sign as per that politician or as per the Islamic court. Probably the cartoonist shouldn't have drawn that dark spot on the forehead. So I think possibly they took offense of that dark spot, because I'm checking out the cartoon, nothing is wrong with it.
I got to say, by at least Western standards, it seems to be a very tame cartoon, hardly critical at all.
Yeah.
And it seems rather unbelievable, rather medieval, that a cartoonist would be sentenced to 25 lashes.
That's right. There's in the Islamic Penal Code, there's a chapter 27, that talks about if you libel somebody in the media or portray him in an untruthful way in the media, you will be lashed up to 74. You will get up to 47 lashes, or go from 1 month to a year in prison.
Wow.
But I think the judge was thinking, okay, out of 74 lashes, I can give the guy 25.
Now,
But
what I don't get from the media reports is exactly which court, which judge, who was he convicted by?
to my knowledge, this was actually the paper Mr. Shokraye was working for, called
Right.
Name Amir. The publisher was prosecuted, and in the trial, the jury, in the press court we have juries, but in other courts we don't have. So in the press court, the jury found him responsible for insulting or doing something wrong, but reduced the sentence. That means had some mercy on him.
Okay.
But on the other hand, to based on the reports that I have read, the judge himself sentenced Mr. Shokraye to 25 lashes for the cartoon.
Okay.
Though
So
the publisher didn't get any lashes or didn't get any severe punishment.
okay. So it seems like the judge may have taken the case out of the jury's hands and decided
Exactly.
himself.
And in Iran, really, the judges do not care what the juries say, because in just very few courts we have jury members. In most of the courts, the judge is the decider.
And is there any hope that the cartoonists or the public in general, either inside Iran or outside Iran, can somehow prevent this from happening?
I'm not sure about the cartoonist. A colleague of mine had contacted the cartoonist and asked him if he had accepted the verdict and is willing to appeal the sentence or not. Apparently, the cartoonist has been told not to appeal
the decision.
the decision. And so based on that, he's accepting the verdict. The danger of accepting this verdict is that from now on, any cartoonist...
That's my very next question.
Nice.
What does this mean for all the other cartoonists and all the other media people?
I can say for the cartoonists, at least, that from now on, any cartoonist who draws a politician, the politician doesn't like the cartoonist should expect at least 25 lashes. So that's the danger. And now because of this, and many cartoonists are actually fearing their backs from being lashed after drawing cartoons of politicians in the future. They have participated in a campaign, in a cartoon campaign, to support this cartoonist. And Mahmud Shokraye in France, an Iranian cartoonist, was also imprisoned in 2006.
And like yourself, a former Courage Award winner.
Exactly. CRNI Courage Award winner. Mana has invited other Iranian cartoonists to participate in this campaign to draw cartoons defending Mr. Shokraye. And by defending, he means drawing caricatures and cartoons of the politician, Mr. Lotfi Ashtiani. So many of us have started drawing caricatures of the parliamentarian, and even I know 2 British cartoonists have joined this campaign. Martin Rowson of The Guardian has drawn one cartoon and it was published on Guardian's website yesterday. So it's...
And we will, of course, provide that link on our website, and of course, any other help that we can. But what about the future? You've obviously had a long history cartooning and following what's going on in Iran, both from inside Iran and now from outside Iran as a Canadian, Iranian-Canadian.
Living in D.C.
Living in D.C. What do you think is going to happen in the future? Are you optimistic or pessimistic overall?
We have a saying in Iran that just the first 100 years is difficult to handle. So I hope in the next 100 years after this 100 years everything would be okay. But this is a joke. No, I'm not that optimistic about the near future, but I'm optimistic about the future after the downfall of the Iranian regime. And I think gradually the public is understanding what cartoon is and what it can do and how it can help a democratic movement and a democratic country, actually, by criticizing politicians and in a way monitoring politics through a humoristic eye. And it's very important, going back to the history of editorial cartooning in Europe and in North America, how editorial cartoons were helping the public in different times. How Daumier with his cartoons helped the public. How Thomas Nast helped cartoons, and how he dealt with Boss Tweed. How the cartoons of Herblock actually helped free this country from so many people who wanted to take it to the Middle Ages and the witch hunts. So many people inside Iran are learning what has happened in other countries through the cartoonists who have written about cartooning in other countries. And possibly right now is one of the best periods of time for Iranian cartoonists to demonstrate how things should be and how cartoonists should act to help the public.
This is Drew Rouget Chapman with the Cartoonist Rights Network. Again, I'm with Nik Kowsar, Iranian/Canadian cartoonist and CRN board member and former Courage Award winner. Again, Nik, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.